Hello friends, welcome to Melissa's Musing. I've got Mr. Boots here with me. He's insisting on being a part of this. No, you cannot climb on the kitchen table. This is why he wants to be on my lap, for sure. So, welcome to Melissa's Musing. As you guys know, I'm Melissa Steele. And I'm coming to you with another story about a story that we create for ourselves. Because after yesterday's musing, I was thinking about different scenarios where either I've created stories for myself or people have created stories about me. And I thought of the perfect example and a really tangible example because there were a lot of details to yesterday's story, let me tell you. Kind of like few different drama lines and plot lines. So this example is a really amazing way to clearly see how we make stories. And it literally happens. Honestly, as soon as I posted the video, I started immediately creating stories for myself about what was going to happen if and when the people who, like I was referencing in the video, if they watched the video. And I was like, oh my goodness, stories, right? So it brought up for me a really perfect example of a story where we create things for ourselves. So I'm not sure if this is working. Nobody's on here, but Facebook's been funky, so whatevs. I'm just gonna roll with it. You guys can watch on the replay. This is for me anyways to share, and hopefully it supports whoever ends up watching it later. Oh, here. Some people are trickling on in. Facebook just like isn't telling me anything, so I can't see anything. If anybody's out there, would love some hearts and some comments to let me know that you're out there. But otherwise, I'm just gonna rock and roll. So we were in Hawaii last summer for a good friend's wedding, and we decided to take the road to Hana, and I was so excited about it. And we had a full support team here in San Diego while we were away. Of course, like we own a company, so we can't just disappear for the week. We had our agent here in San Diego, or two agents here in San Diego who are helping to hold it down, like boots on the ground. And then, of course, Jordan was in the home office, fully cranking, answering phone calls, emails, all the things. Like, we didn't even need an out of office because they were fully on it all week. And so John and I decided to take the road to Hana, and the whole team knew that we were taking the road to Hana that day. But what we didn't know is that we were going to lose service. So we were unaware and unable to like let them know, because by the time we lost service, it was over. Like, we lost service and there was no going back. Like, we like simply could not find service. Occasionally what would happen is in sporadic moments throughout the day, I would probably get like a moment of service where I would get like 3 or 4 texts and like 2 or 3 emails would pop into my inbox, but I would not be able to send anything else out, and I was not able to do very much. So it was like, what had happened is we started the road to Hana, super excited. Me being Instagram crazy, as you guys know, on stories, for those of you who follow, I was like, I can't wait to document our whole road to Hana. And like the first 15, 20 minutes of the trip, I started posting on Instagram. And what I didn't realize at the time is that we were losing service. So posting away, I'm so excited. I'm like, road to Hana, John and I are in the car, and I blast out the first few. And what I don't realize is that they're failing. Or like just re-uploading, uploading. Like they're not actually posting at the time. So like 20 minutes into this, I realized, oh, they're all failing and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I don't have service. Shoot, I wasn't able to tell our employees that I don't have service. So we go throughout our day, and I'm thinking to myself, they're fully supported. Like, they've got everything that they need. They're going to be good to go. Like, they don't need us. They're amazing at what they do. So I'm feeling super confident on my end. I'm enjoying the road to Hana. I'm, like, not feeling urgent at all. I'm great on my end, right? And what I don't realize is that on our employees' end, Jordan, she's at the home office. She's holding it down. She's doing her best. But what's happening is we got an offer accepted, and she had shot us a text, and basically I had responded, and then she shot us one in response, and crickets on my end, like 0 response, because that's when we lost service. So we had gotten an offer accepted. She wasn't sure if she should reach out to the client or whatever. She was like, why is Melissa not responding to me, you know? She just wanted some direction. Had she not been able to get in contact with me at all, she probably would have been like, okay, I'm just going to take the reins and make a decision. But since we'd been texting back and forth, she was like, okay, Melissa just died out mid-conversation. What just happened? And on top of that, in those little blurps of like internet that I was getting, where I would get like 2 or 3 texts at once or like 2 or 3 emails, and you know when that kind of happens, you're going through a dead zone or you're driving through a dead zone and all of a sudden you'll get, 4, 5, 6 different text messages and you're like, oh shoot, like I must have just hit some service, and you go to respond and like you literally can't even send anything in response. You hit like a moment of service. So what I didn't realize was that on my end, when I was hitting those moments of service, my Instagrams were actually posting. So those first few Instagrams that I'd taken in my morning, like maybe 7:10, 7:15 a.m., they posted at like 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., as I reached those little blurps of service. So what Jordan was seeing on her end and what she was thinking on her end was, dude, here's Melissa totally ignoring me as she's posting on Instagram. Having fun with John in the car, road to Hana, too busy to respond to me, to pay attention to me, literally stopped texting me mid-conversation, and here she is posting on Instagram. So John and I get back to our Airbnb really late at night. Hawaii time, it's like 7 p.m. probably, 6 or 7 p.m. And of course, that's like, I think 5 hours behind East Coast time. So our employee is like already sleeping. And boom, 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 I get all of my texts that I haven't gotten throughout the day. And it's like, Jordan's one side of the conversation. And it's like, hey, Melissa, like, can you answer my last question? Like, what should I be doing? Hey, I'm feeling stressed, like anxious. Can you please reach out to me? We were in the middle of talking about this and now it's been like 2 hours and you haven't gotten back to me. Hey, I see you posting on Instagram and I'm starting to get really upset. Is there a reason you're not responding to me? And then the final one, like, it was like, when you wake up in the morning, please call me. I'm really upset and I want to talk. And I was like, shit, what happened? And like me, I'm looking through the emails. I'm like, what happened? What happened with work? Oh my God. And I'm looking at her end of day report and there's nothing on there. I'm like, oh my goodness, something major must have happened with work. So the next morning I call her and she's like, hey, I'm so upset. Like, can we talk? And I was like, sure. And she's like, why did you ignore me yesterday while you were on the road to Hana as you were posting on Instagram and like seemingly just having a great time? And I was like, what? And she's like, you posted on Instagram like all day. And I was like, I didn't post at all. And then I was like, oh, shoot. And I went back and looked on my Instagram and there it was, like 5 or 6 different posts that had posted throughout the day that I had no realization because I had thought that everyone had failed. And we obviously got to clear the space. I was like, oh my goodness, here's what ended up happening. And she was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I was clear with you in my communication because here I was so upset at you. And what a great example of a story that we tell ourselves, right? Because we've all been there. We've all created a story for ourselves around, especially in the capacity of us all having access to social media. In the capacity of us all like seeing everything that each other's doing, who we're hanging out with and when, with or without us. It's really hard, and it's really hard to manage the emotions that come along with that, with feeling left out or the fear of missing out like I was talking about yesterday. Or in this particular instance with an employee-employer relationship where like she felt totally really just, not like a priority. The story that she created for herself was that she was not a priority for me. I was totally ignoring her. I had service all day throughout the road, and here I am just like being really crappy and not responding to her. So what a fantastic reminder. I don't actually know if this is even working because it literally no one joined in the entire time. But it's not the most opportune time to go live. I don't even know what time it is. I was just thinking about this and I was like, oh, I'll do a musing. So hopefully you guys can watch on the replay. Hopefully this is like out on the interwebs. We'll see. We'll see if it posts. But I hope you have a great weekend. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.